Today we are going to be looking at some questions on limits to confidentiality. And welcome back to my channel, Mental Health with Melissa. I'm Melissa. If you're new here, I am a Lcsw psychotherapist, clinical supervisor, and PhD psychology research student. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more content. I post new videos every single Sunday and Wednesday. Subscribing to my channel really helps me get mental health information out there to our communities of color. Tons of Lcsw test prep material for free along with test prep questions. So again, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more content your way. Today we are going to be looking at some questions on limits to confidentiality as a part of what may be asked on the Lcsw test prep or Lcsw exam. So I'm going to be giving you some true or false questions. You can follow along, and then we'll talk about some of the limits to confidentiality towards the end of the video. So please stay tuned. Okay, so the first question here is, a client shares with her social worker that her 32-year-old best friend confided to her, so the client's best friend confided to the client that her husband beats her up. Is this reportable or a limit to confidentiality? So the options that we have today are just yes or no. So why don't you answer this to yourself, and now I'm going to go over what the answer is so that you can kind of compare your answer to the information that I break down. So if we're talking about intimate partner violence, and I have a video on my channel about intimate partner violence on domestic violence and kind of the differences and similarities, so don't forget to check that out. Intimate partner violence is not a limit to confidentiality. And we're going to talk again, like I said, about the specific limits to confidentiality later on. But unless there is an elderly person or a child or a disabled person that's involved, or if one of the partners has a specific plan to harm the other one and they tell you that, or if one of the partners tell you that they want to harm themselves as a result, then this is just not reportable. So this is also secondhand information. So the client of the social worker is telling you this information about her 32-year-old best friend. So she's not elderly, she's not a child, we don't have any information that she's disabled, and we don't have any other information about the husband wanting to kill her. So this is not a reportable limit to confidentiality. So the answer to this would simply be no. The next scenario we have here is a client shares with his social worker that his coworker told him he does not allow his 3-year-old daughter to eat food on Mondays so that she can lose weight. Is this a limit to confidentiality? Okay, so this person that is not allowing his 3-year-old daughter to eat on Mondays is not our client. Our client tells us about this particular coworker and about his 3-year-old daughter. However, this is still a child that is being affected, and we have this information now. So if you've been studying for your law and ethics exam, if you're in the state of California, or if you're studying for your Lcsw exam, there's going to be quite a few questions on CPS or reports for child abuse or neglect. This is reportable and is a limit to confidentiality because there's a 3-year-old here that may be their nutrition and just their overall health may be affected. They may be neglected or malnourished, and so this is a limit to confidentiality, and we definitely want to report this. Okay, the next scenario is a client shares with their social worker that 2 years ago they had planned to end their life with intent. The client describes the plan in detail and states they were hospitalized as a result with no SI, suicidal ideation, intent plan since then. The client states they never told anyone. Is this a limit to confidentiality? So let's take a look at this this vignette more in detail. So this was 2 years ago, okay, and they described the plan in detail to the social worker today, and they let the social worker know they were hospitalized as a result with no specific plan or intent. So that means that it sounds like the social worker has assessed today, and the client is denying any SI intent plan, and the client shares that they never told anyone. So even though the client says that they never told anyone, today somebody knew. So somebody found out, or the hospital staff found out. So they were hospitalized at that time. Somebody did know, or people did know, but because there is no active or acute SI intent or plan today, this is not a limit to confidentiality. So no is the answer, because the client is simply sharing what happened 2 years ago. Obviously, the clinician will want to continue to have this ongoing assessment of future orientation or suicidal ideation throughout, but because there is no specific intent at this time, this is not a limit to confidentiality. The next scenario is a client shares with her social worker that she gets angry with her sister and has bad thoughts about her. When the social worker explores this, the client denies any intent plan to harm her, stating she would never do anything to hurt her. However, she states she has dreams about her sister dying. Is this a limit to confidentiality? So let's take a look at this. The client is telling the social worker that she has bad thoughts about her sister. So this is something that we definitely want to explore. It looks like the social worker did that and assesses for danger to others or intent with a specific plan to harm others, including her sister. And quite frankly, the client denies any plan. She specifically says that she would not want to do anything to hurt her. She just states that she has dreams about her sister dying. So is this a limit to confidentiality? The answer is going to be no, because of those reasons. There's no specific intent or plan to harm her sister. Okay, so if we're talking about limits to confidentiality, what limits to confidentiality means is that we do have the responsibility to protect the privacy of our clients and what they share with us. However, there are times when confidentiality and privacy has to be broken. And those specific times are if a client lets us know that they have a very specific plan to harm themselves and they're having suicidal ideation. If somebody lets us know that they have very specific plans and intent to harm somebody else. If somebody lets us know that there is an elderly person, disabled person, or a child that's being abused or neglected in any way, then we have that as a limit as well to confidentiality. And in any of those circumstances, we are mandated to report to the appropriate authorities. So in kind of looking over those vignettes that we did and the yes or no sort of questions about limits of confidentiality, that's going to give us a better idea of what that may look like or what that may not look like. If you have any further questions on this, let me know in the comments section below. I also very much encourage you to look up your state's guidelines about reporting, because every state has different reporting mandates regarding elderly abuse and child abuse. So please look further into that. And again, if there's any further questions, then leave them in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, managing mental health matters.